So do you think this Roche test is transformational?
I think this genre of tests are transformational. The Abbott test is the same kind of test. This is a very cheap, easy-to-use test that could be deployed in schools and workplaces, give a very quick result that's highly sensitive and specific. The Abbott test is being priced at $5. You can also produce these in massive volumes because it doesn't take a lot of sophisticated components in order to produce these tests. So Abbott said they'll be able to produce upwards of 50 million tests a month. Roche said that they're going to approach those kinds of levels in a couple of months as well in terms of their production. I know there's other large manufacturers working on these kinds of card-based tests. And what this is really going to allow is to move testing into schools, for example, into nursing homes, into more austere facilities that don't have sophisticated machinery, don't have sophisticated medical personnel. Some of these tests can be run just with a tech in these settings. Frankly, a lot of these tests, I think, could be run by consumers, but they're not going to be authorized for home use, at least not initially.
Dr. Gottlieb, back to just the testing, the idea that you said it yourself, you don't think that this is going to be readily available for consumer over-the-counter type of use. When do you think that does happen? Because I think that would be hugely important, too. I mean, I'd love to see it.
It could start to happen this year. I would expect some manufacturers are already in front of the FDA with requests, with emergency use authorization requests for tests that can be used at home. I think you could see these large manufacturers come back and try to seek those authorizations as well. Initially, a sticking point was that the FDA was going to impose a requirement that the results needed to be reportable on a mandatory basis back to a public health authority. They seem to have relaxed that a little bit. They're still going to require it, but they're not going to hold up an authorization just because a test can't put in place a foolproof way to make sure that the result gets reported back to a public health authority. What they don't want is a lot of people self-diagnosing at home with COVID and that result not getting reported. But I think that's a concern. But I think the bigger imperative here is to make sure that people can have access to testing. So you want something like a pregnancy test that can be used very easily at home. I would expect to see that this year. You might see it by the fall. I don't think you're going to see it in the next month or so. And remember also the Abbott test, the government really cornered the supply of that test. For the foreseeable future, for the next few months, that test isn't going to be readily available in the market to businesses or other entities because the government has bought up most of the available supply and said that they're going to direct that mostly to nursing homes right now. So consumers aren't going to see that test for a little while.